Today I'm joined by someone who understands infrastructure from the business execution side, Zina Hassel of ZLH Enterprises, and that's my Canadian Z for you. Thank you for being here,
Well,
Zina.
hi there.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about ZLH Enterprises, why you're so successful.
We're successful because honesty is the best policy and looking out for your customers as opposed to any quotas, et cetera, that somebody may have with the supplier is always going to do best for you. We are a consultative agency. It's interesting. I was talking to somebody today and they said, well, we know it's the last day of the month. And I said, well, what does that mean? Well, for sales. I said, I really don't care if it's the last day or the fifth day or the 28th day. We're not a sales organization. Whatever happens, happens. So we are an outgrowth of my experience in the industry, which includes the equipment, infrastructure cabling. I was the co-founder of a CLEC in New Jersey. I hate to say this, but decades ago.
That's okay. You can say it's experience. It's passion.
Experience. There's a lot of experience. My daughter joined me probably a decade ago and a half.
Young spring chicken.
A young spring chicken. And she's been very, very, very helpful in the business. She's also got ownership in the business. We are a woman-owned business. We do know what we're doing. If there's a particular solution or a problem that a client has and we don't know the answer off the top of our head, we will research it for them. We are typically a no-cost, no-billing organization unless somebody wants to rise to the top for trouble tickets and things like that. And we have a very good reputation, I believe, in the industry. Do we not, Ben?
You absolutely have a phenomenal reputation in the industry. And we've been working together for years and years and years. And, I hope all the plants that I've been sending you are still alive.
They are, believe it or not, but
yes,
don't send...
Please.
But don't send Jody plants.
No, we said, I don't know. I think
she doesn't even do well with the cactus.
From your perspective, when connectivity goes down, what actually happens behind the scenes?
It almost depends on the type of business, but for the most part, the employees of the business no longer have access to their work product, depending on what type of VoIP, if they have a VoIP system, unless they've got the app on their phones, they no longer have immediate access to their calling. Their cameras will go down. And depending on the neighborhood that you're in, that could be good, bad, or indifferent. If it's in a medical facility and cameras go down, that's a real problem because you're likely monitoring where the patients or the residents are and are you geofencing where they shouldn't be. So it's very, very disruptive to the business. And it doesn't matter if you're a small business enterprise or if you're an enterprise-sized client, it's just going to hit you harder.
What does downtime cost in reputation?
It's certainly costly in terms of reputation. And in this day and age, where there are so many alternative solutions, you almost really don't have an excuse to be down unless something catastrophic happens to your building.
When you think about redundancy versus true diversity, what have you seen in the Miami market?
So, a lot of the Miami market is the old staid, we've been here forever, this is what we have, and, we just learned to live with it.
Yeah.
The newer Miami market, which is a lot of Northeastern transplants, are looking at, shouldn't we have this or shouldn't we have that? And, the this and the that is, do you want two terrestrial circuits or do you want one non-terrestrial circuit? And are you running SD-WAN? I try not to use the word backup because that's almost like an insurance policy.
Thank you.
Why are you paying for something if you're not using it? You should be using it. And just about every device out there right now will allow you to use it as an aggregated device.
So that's a great point. What are you seeing for connectivity in Miami? What's going on right now with that?
Well, there's a lot of building going on in Miami. There are a lot of street changes going on in Miami. One of the big things that's going on in Miami is permitting process. It's just a very elongated process. And even using expediters I don't know if there's a way to get around the length of time that it takes to get permits in Miami. We waited once almost 2 years.
Wow.
Well, because they would change the road plan. Where did the curbs cut in? Where were the manholes?
Right.
So you really have to start planning. If you're constructing a building now and you think you want it to open in 2.5 years, yeah, start getting those contracts together now and see what you want. And you have to be careful with the trees because, sometimes you can't just cut them down. That may be subject to permitting as well.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. So,
I know in the neighborhood that I live in, as I understand it, they take pictures. The township takes pictures.
oh, really? And they
And
show before and after over a year or two. Like, what did you do to your tree over here? What's this?
yeah, did you just put in a pool? What happened to the tree that used to be there? You may not be able to put it back in exactly the same place, but you have to put back a tree.
Okay, that's fair. Speaking of natural wireless, from your experience working together for so long, right? For so long, how do you describe the quality of natural wireless services?
This is not a plug for you guys. We have never had an issue that I can remember with natural wireless, either not delivering on time because of your project team or not being able to do something because of your internal restrictions. You've always been there. I mean, you've turned services up, I think, in less than a week in some instances for us in Manhattan because we do a lot of construction trailers.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Not necessarily in the wintertime, but
Why do you recommend natural wireless to clients?
because we know that it's going to get installed. We know that there are eyes on the job. We know that in the event that there's a service issue, you guys are going to take care of it. And if for some reason it gets stuck in your support queue, we've got everybody's phone number up to the top. But we've never had to call in any chips because you guys run a tight ship. I'm not sure that I recall you having an outage in the recent past. So when people are looking for that, 5.9, I think that you're pretty good over there.
Definitely.
And because you are route diversified, if a backhoe
right there, I like that, route diversified. Excellent. Thank you. Yes.
So if a backhoe comes in, it's not going to disrupt your services because you're not in the manhole.
Do you see business leaders making infrastructure decisions solely based on price or exposure risk, given that the explosion in AI cloud applications, in addition to everything else that's running in the cloud?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Well, now that you have those additional apps and services that are running, it becomes all the more imperative to have uptime. And there have been studies in the industry, for every day or hour, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So who wants to have that on their back that, I didn't get that diversified route. I didn't get that second circuit. I didn't put in that SD-WAN. I thought it would be too much money.
Yeah.
Well, if you took ROI on the too much money, how much would it have cost over a 3-year agreement versus how much did you lose for being out of service for like 2 or 3 days? And are you still sitting in that job to explain it?
Internet connectivity, really, it's not a utility. It's revenue infrastructure. And if it's not operational, like you just said, businesses are losing tens of thousands of dollars every hour. So, shifting a little back, shopping on price, thank goodness the race at the bottom is kind of petering out because people now understand that without the internet, they can't pay their bills online. They can't access their ERP systems. They can't access their cloud production environments. So they're realizing, hey, the internet is not actually a utility. It's revenue. It's our revenue infrastructure. Without it, we don't exist. And that's the kind of shift that I'm trying to bring around to executive management teams and IT directors. But it's an uphill battle. Because for so long, it's been a line item, IT, telecom, but everything's hosted these days. Everything without the internet, none of it
Right.
works.
You're either hosting your voice services or you're hosting your
Yeah.
data services. But I will disagree with you in that it still is, it needs to be treated as a utility when you have to pay the bill. You can't not pay the bill for 120 days. You're going to get shut down. Just like you have to pay
Yes.
your Con Ed bill every 30 to 45 days or whatever before you start getting your suspension notices. I can't tell you the amount of times that customers, maybe not purposely, maybe they're having a cash flow problem, but if that's the case, call in and let the carrier know that so they'll put you on a plan. But don't just ignore the invoices because, they're running a business too. This month, March, is International Women's Month, with the International Women's Day, I think, being March 8th.
Yep.
We
That's correct.
celebrate the women worldwide, not just in the industry, but if you're in the industry, we all know how difficult it's been as a woman in this IT and telecom industry. And that's why I mentor people. I love doing that. And if you want to find a couple of anecdotal stories about my struggles in the industry, feel free to go up on Amazon and take a look at my book, My Armadillo Skin, How I Made It as a Woman in the Field of Telecom.
Amazing. Definitely going to check out that read. Thank you so much.
So you can visit us at www.zlhent.com. You can call us at 732-845-5288. And although we will help you with your AI, 99.99% of the time when you call our office, you will get a human being on the phone and you will not be asked to stay on hold waiting for that human being for 20 minutes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Zina. It was great seeing you.
You too.